Hey everyone, thanks for joining in. We're with Steve. He's cutting a big garnet right now. We're kind of just testing out this restream. So we figured, we'd record Steve doing some streaming.
Hey, welcome everybody. Today I'm cutting a very large umbellite garnet. Should finish somewhere over 20 carat. Color's light and should be very bright. So I'm just cutting the girdle now, just trying to get the basic shape of the stone. It's going to be an oval. Probably step cut. We'll see whether the depth really allows for that. So I'm just going to cut the culet and then I'll be able to decide what I'm going to ultimately cut. So right now I'm cutting at the culet angle, which is 41 degrees for this garnet. And I'm just going back and forth, trying not to overcut, but I want to meet in the center. Just lower the mast, cut one side to 41 degrees. Go to the other side, cut also to 41 degrees. And I still haven't met in the center, so lower the mast again.
Steve, someone from YouTube wants to know what your favorite gemstone is.
Garnet. And this will be one of them, but probably Malaya garnet, which is the peach form of garnet. now that I've almost got the culet formed, I'm a little short, but that's where you want to be, because I still have to pre-polish. I want to cut a little further, but I have to decide whether I'm cutting a step cut or brilliant style. And that's all determined by how much crown I have left, which I'm running a little short. Brilliant style will cut a shallower stone. Step cut needs a little extra depth. There goes that millimeter gauge handle over there. Really? Thank you. Michael, is there anybody following?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right, so trying to determine what to cut out of this. I'm doing a length to width ratio, and you know, as it doesn't look like I've got enough room for a step cut, I'm gonna have to find a cut that's gonna work for this length to width. So it's 15.8 long, and I divide it by the width, 14.2, and that gives me a 1.11 length to width. So almost round, but not quite. So now I can either create a design or look for a design that fits those parameters, which 1.11 is not a likely length to width for having a design that somebody's already done. But we'll take a look first and see if there's anything I like. So one place you can look is Gemology Online. There's a lot of designs in there. Too much noise. And they're in the gemology project. And it is gemologyonline.com and gemologyproject.com.
What are you doing over there, Steve?
Oh, trying to find design. This could take time.
Yeah, just curious. go, go ahead, take your time.
Just which this is a shape that, there's not going to be any design likely that's going to fit the proportions of this stone just because it's so close to a round that people don't typically cut at 1.11. You'll find 1.2s to 1. If I cut that, I'll lose some material. Arya Akavan has a design I like, which is ostentatious oval, but that's a 1.2 to 1. So to do that design, I'd lose about a millimeter of my stone in width, which in this size is, I bet it's more than a carat, which for this quality of garnet is worth probably $400. to get 3 steps in the pavilion, have enough room for a crown. It's close. Difficult decision because ultimately this is a $6,000 or more stone, hopefully more. So this is the most important part of the whole process of deciding what you're going to do with how you're going to cut it. You know, we've got a long keel on the stone, so you don't want to cut a straight brilliant. You're going to lose a lot of weight that way. So the step cut has the advantage of you can cut it with a bit of a keel. And the advantage of a brilliant style, you're going to get a different type of brilliance. And a garnet this color, it could be extremely brilliant. So this is another source for cutting designs, which is Long and Steel's facet designs. This gives a lot of designs for ovals. Which they have books for every shape. But again, I think the issue is going to be the width of our stone. You know, they've got a little over 1.2 length to width. Which I think 1.2 is the minimum that they have. And
Does everybody think that Steve should cut out of this? He probably won't listen to you, but just curious.
I don't know. Can you see this, Mike?
What's that? Yeah, go ahead. Show him to that camera.
To that camera. Does that show? It's hard to watch, that little bit of lag. So here's a design that's possible. It's a lazy oval. It's a 1.2. So I'll lose a little bit of width. It does have a longer keel, which my piece of rough definitely has a long keel. So it's a possible cut that would work for this stone. Which I'd planned a step cut, and my girdle facets are a little bit off, but not far from what this stone is. So I just have to decide whether it's the way to go. If this was a lesser expensive stone, I would make a quicker decision, but important decision now. I mean, it's the most important decision you make during the entire cutting process. Just what to cut from it, and that's what determines your yield. So I guess I'm going to go with this. This is the Lazy Oval by Long and Steel. So it starts off by cutting several of the girdle facets. I originally preformed this on 3 and 6. This design is on 2 and 8, so not far off. And I have to lose a little width anyway, so should work out okay. So as I've preformed this already, I'm going to change from this 600 lap to a 1200. Alright, I've cut the first two girdle facets in, and now it cuts the culet facet. So this will be at 41 degrees, which is a culet angle for garnet. So this is a piece of rough that we bought in Kenya. I was looking for a couple of special pieces. One I cut a couple of months ago ended up to be, how big was it? 30, 32, 33 carats. They're just very rare sizes in these garnets. And the rough was pretty expensive. Hopefully it works out.
Somebody wanted to know whether you ever used that GemCAD studio.
You know, I haven't done GemCAD. You know, that's a whole new field. Probably a good thing to learn. I mean, if you have ideas, there's a lot of things I'd like to know when I cut a step cut, and what's the best angle for the crown to reflect the pavilion, and maybe that's kind of things that would tell you. And I mentioned Arya Akavan, and I know that's what he does his designing on. I'm not sure if it's GemCAD or not. But probably a good thing to learn. I'm sure there's a lot of good lessons in there. Alright, so I've got the culet. So next So it asks for 41.8 degrees. That's a nice thing about this Ultratech. You dial in exactly 41.8 and it works very well. So ideally, this facet meets at the girdle on 41.8. How often do I dress my laps? Generally, I don't. Probably should. You know, these laps, as they wear out, I just buy another one. I have not been one to dress my laps. The ones I'm concerned about whether I can dress them is the lightning laps, because they do get dull. But I have not been one to regularly dress my laps. No, and I don't use a centered lap. I've considered it, and I just haven't got around to it. I'm just stuck into the way I started, and just haven't changed. What works, I just keep it up. But centered lap, I one of these days I'll buy one, because people have a lot of success with it.
Hey Derek, this one is not for sale currently, but I'm sure it'll be on our next live streaming gem show, which is the first Wednesday in June.
So these topper lamps I use, I think they were 28 bucks a piece. A centered lamp's about $500, and I know they last much, much longer. But you do have to dress them, and I just wonder what kind of issues you can run into while dressing your lamps.
Steve, someone wants to know what's the typical loss on from rough to cut? What's your yield?
My typical loss is about 60%. You know, I often hit 45, sometimes 50% yield. And sometimes you hit 30, 35. But most of the time I'm between 40, 45% yield, so loss of 55 to 60% of the material. Alright, that set of facets went well. The next is at 41.7. So I'm just adjusting the height of the mast and going down to 41.7. Just keep adjusting till they finally, the facets meet where they're supposed to. The set meets at the keel line. Just meets the last facet that I cut. finish this stone. This pavilion's gonna take me maybe 3 hours. It's probably gonna be maybe 7 hours. I'd like to think 5, but somewhere 5 to 8 is probably where this one's gonna be. Because garnet's pretty easy to polish, so polishing won't be an issue, hopefully. But big stones like this tend to take longer. Sometimes this size I can end up into it for 10 hours. So now I'm at 41.7 and my facets have met. So it's easier. The other 3 facets are much easier. Just because I know where to stop. I don't have to pick it up so many times. I can just look at the meter and come close to 41.7 and then start looking at it. So instead of looking at it 20 times, I'm going to look at it 3 times. So when I get down to 41.8, I'm going to take a look and looking about right. Again, the advantage of a quality machine, you can trust the machine mostly. I'm at 41.72 and I'm really just about there. So there's slight variations.
All right, everyone, we're going to close it down. I want to thank everybody who just tuned in for this little quick live stream. Like I said, we were just kind of testing a couple things out, so we figured we'd put Steve on here cutting, which he does daily and on the regular, so it comes natural to him. But if anybody wants to see more, or if you enjoy our live streams, make sure you subscribe. Right now we're streaming on Facebook and YouTube. We were on Instagram, but I'm not sure whether that's going to work out in the future. So, yeah, just give us a follow, and then you'll see when we go live.
We off?
No.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for watching. Yeah, it's the whole process might be a little bit much for most. Probably. I think there's probably something wrong with it. But hey, some people find it relaxing. I don't find it relaxing too much on this end, but it's just when you get to the finished product, it's always exciting. I'm always excited to get the stone off the top and see just what I've done. Most of the time it's rewarding. Sometimes it's a little disappointing, but most of the time things come out well. And I'm sure this one will be a beauty. Like Mike said, watch our next show, which is first Wednesday in June. this stone will be on there.